everybody? Hope you're all well. I wanted to do a quick reading. Uh, you know, I don't know, the other day either I just hadn't been noticing or um, but I said how I was thinking how before, I know for a while when I was doing readings, I was waking up to songs, right? And for some reason, either I wasn't paying attention or I don't know what, but this morning I woke up to a song that was from 2004. So imagine it's over 20 years old. So I hadn't heard this song probably in a couple decades. And it was a song like back then I was listening to it like, mostly like what people call gangster rap, right? Or hip hop or whatever like that. So it was funny. Someone let me hear this song and I really liked it back then, right? It made sense. But it's called like No Phone, right? And it's like a really, you know, it's a different kind of music, right? Whatever. No Phone. It was released on July 16th of 2004. So some of you may be cancers. Um, but anyways, and it's funny, I think it was recorded prior to the year before, like 2003, June 20. So maybe some of you are, you know, um, Gemini Cancer cuspers or something. But the lyrics are no phone, no phone. I just want to be alone today. No phone, no phone. Ringing, singing, jerking like a nervous bird, rattling up against his cage. Calls to me throughout the day. See the feathers fly, no phone, no phone. I just wanna be alone today. So you could look up the lyrics, right? The group is called Cake. Maybe some of you just ate some cake, right? So this all resonate with you. But yeah, it was interesting. So that was the thing. Maybe some of you are in that mood, like you want to be alone after the Scorpio full moon. Maybe there's a lot of thinking going on right now. You're processing things, right? And that's the mood you're in. So it's funny, yeah. That song just randomly popped in my head this morning. We're talking about yeah, a song from 21 years ago, something like that. So let's see what the Dark Goddess has to say. And if you're new here, welcome to my channel. I'm a psychic medium, but obviously I like using these cards because the message comes out regardless, right? But yeah, listen. I mean, oof, listen to the message, and if it resonates, what do you call it? Give it a thumbs up, like all that good stuff. Wow, I love it. Eresh Kegel, because it just confirmed what I was talking about, right? Boundaries, right? So maybe that feeling like you don't want to, like the no calls, no nothing. It's like the no phone thing, right? Eresh Kegel, boundaries. She's never came out before. I don't know what that symbol is. I don't know why it reminded me of the Libra symbol at first glance, right? And that reminds me kind of very Scorpio-ish, right? So let's read what this card is about. Resh could go boundaries or wow. So already, right? Maybe that's what the whole no phone thing is about, setting boundaries, right? Sometimes you might be someone that is a little too accessible to people, and sometimes people take that for granted when things like that, right? And so you got to set boundaries. Boundaries myth. Ereshkigal is the Mesopotamian goddess of the underworld. She is a fearsome goddess who rules from her palace over the underworld kingdom. Ereshkigal makes sure that the good are rewarded and the wicked are punished. Most important, she ensures that the living do not enter her realm and that the souls of the dead remain in their final destination. Ereshkigal oversees the rituals and burial rites of the dead. If a death ritual isn't conducted properly, she may allow the deceased to return as a ghost to reprimand the living and remind them of their duties to the dead. Ereshkigal may appear as a woman or as a woman with a lioness head. Wow, that reminds me of Sekhmet, right? And oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. Come on, Hathor, right? Hathor, and you know that's funny. Meaning Feelings of resentment and confusion are growing. So it's time for you to put clear boundaries in place. Stop saying yes when you want to say no. Don't neglect yourself or allow others to exploit you. Oreshkigal urges you to find your inner strength to enforce healthy boundaries. By doing so, you not only empower yourself, but also communicate honestly with others about what you are able to contribute. Wow, I love it. I love it. That's beautiful. So there you go, right? I think with the Scorpio full moon, it was definitely a time if you were denying that of yourself, right? That there's certain things that certain boundaries that you really want to have that you haven't been speaking up about or certain see like my whole throat right now is kind of tightening up right now. So I'm guessing there might be people watching this that are feeling like that, right? Like there's certain things, right? That certain boundaries you have that I don't know, maybe you weren't speaking up about, and so now is a good time to speak up and set those boundaries, right? Listen to that. So I'll put a link to that No Phone song. It's pretty interesting. Oof, wow, that was quick. Wow. Bigfoot. It's funny because yesterday I went somewhere I hadn't gone in months, and it's a place where I had seen, you know, Bigfoot. And look at honesty, right? Honesty. What did I just say about communicating, right? And bam. So this whole message has just been like boom, 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 boom. I love when the confirmations just come out and look at the full moon and you know, uh, we're still in the energy. What the full moon was 2 days ago, so even last night, last night it still looked full. Well, this morning, even early this morning, I saw it and it still looked full. So honesty is important, right? Because if not, like it said, resentment will grow. You'll start feeling angry. Oh man, oh yeah, my little book's right here. You'll start feeling angry. You'll start growing resentment. So it's better to just communicate clearly with what you're feeling, right? Before it builds up. Honesty, Sabe, Bigfoot. Honesty is a sacred grandfather teaching that starts with oneself, as it takes bravery to be honest through our words and actions. By being honest with ourselves, it becomes easier to be honest with others. The sacred grandfather teaching of honesty is provided to us by Sabe Sasquatch, which imparts his ability to truly understand what it is and how it walks through life. To walk with integrity is to know honesty and to be honest with yourself reflects a level of righteousness. And to be honest with yourself reflects a level of righteousness. Long ago, Sabbath walked among people to remind them to be honest to each other and to the laws of the Creator. It is said that honest people keep their promises, and living a life true to oneself exemplifies honesty. To truly accept who you are and how the Creator made you is to be true to one's own spirit. Fully accepting who you are will guide you through the sacred teaching. If you have drawn this card today, remember that embracing who you are is to be honest with yourself and the Creator. You might be called upon to be honest in a particular situation or become more honest with yourself regarding how authentically you walk in this life. Remember to embrace all that you are. The Creator made you as a unique expression of the divine, and expressing the truest version of self assists in raising Earth's vibration. So, yeah, I don't know. I think because that resonated for some reason, so it even made me, which obviously, right? This is a collective reading, so maybe it'll resonate with you, right? To speak your truth and don't let anybody. It's not about letting others dim your light, but more so, you know, like if you're on a path, right? Be authentic with yourself about the path you're on, and like we're here, like like that, right? Like, oh well, you can't see it because the microphone, right? But the thing behind it says, remember your soul mission, right? So that's the thing. Some of us are very aware of the mission that we're here for, right? Our soul mission, and so at the end of the day, you're responsible for that, right? It's part of your test or whatever to set a boundary or to walk the path, right? Like the Bigfoot, right? With honesty. And so that's what it is. All right, let's see what wants to come out. I don't know. I should have just taken that card, but all right. See what other message wants to come out. Wow, there it is. The Gemini card, number one. See, it's like if everything, see, after this Scorpio full moon and things that have to die, and the magician, alchemist, genius, trickster, problem solver, fixer, jack of all trades, magical, right? So in this context, I mean, if there's things that you feel that you want to fix or you need to fix, and it's fine, right? If that's the what you want to focus on. But if you want to create something new, then you can do that too, right? And jack of all trades, right? So whoever relates is understanding of this energy. It's like you really have the ability to do whatever you want, right? It's like that. Whoever this connecting to, you have the ability to create realities and shape things, you know. And this kind of confirms it even, right? The star. And I know this came out, I think it came out in the reading yesterday too, right? All the ideas, see? So what do you want to create? If you did the work and you let go of whatever was happening yesterday, it wasn't a comfortable energy, right? The Scorpio full moon. I think it was, it wasn't a comfortable energy. It always is, right? When you have to let things die, but in order for new things to be born, right? It just is what it is. So, oh, yeah. So see all the ideas, right? Either the ideas are forming or they're already there, and then obviously, a lot of times this card has even came out with like the Hangman, right? Because sometimes it's too many, or a card similar, right? Because it's too many choices, right? Hope, healing, inspiration, wishes, renewed spirituality, individuality, creative thinker, right? So sometimes and I like how it's her lips are highlighted, right? Like once you have the ideas, it's almost like you have to speak them into existence, right? In that sense, it's like first is the thought, and then you speak them, right? I mean, sometimes it could be doing, right? Actually doing, but at the same time, you have to start taking action, right? Like if you think about it, like speaking is an action, right? You start. So, okay. Let's see what else. What other message for the collective right now? Okay, there it is. Bam. Judgment, right? So there's a judgment going on, which I feel has been a theme too. A judgment. Awakening, resurrection, reincarnation, reunion, shocking ascension, rebirth, right? Number 20. So awakening something. So some of you probably that's what it felt like, right? Like being hit by lightning during the Scorpio full moon, right? Something reawakening, some kind of resurrection, or just awakening in general. Maybe some of you had a reawakening. Maybe some of you were just awakened, or it feels like awakened for or a huge awakening, right? But there's a lot of right, resurrection, reincarnation, rebirth, right? Reunion, so there's a lot of that. Something that's been dormant and is brought back up, right? So, all right, any other message? Don't forget to breathe, for sure. Ah, there it is. See, going into it like the Page of Cups, right? Sensitivity, message of love, fantasy, pregnancy, surprise, and admire, emotional. So something new, right? Something is that kind of energy, right? And cups is a lot of emotion, right? So Either this is gonna be your energy, or hopefully once the dust clears and you're certain of what you want to do, right? The magician thinking things, and understanding your role with the honesty, right? Like how you have to fit the role you're playing, right? You have to walk, and it's a choice, right? Either you walk a path of honesty and righteousness, or this Alder always said it very clearly, right? He was always the like you're either a healer or a herder, right? And I remember even trying to negotiate, right? Like, yeah, but what if, and then you're a healer or herder? Yeah, but you're a healer or a herder, right? That but word, right? Like sometimes you'll come across that, right? Like the paths are very clear, right? But you might uh see there's the but word, right? Sometimes the choices are very clear, and then that word is used, which is almost like you know, f- like for me, right? And now they're telling me that this is someone with like knowledge, right? Like 80 years of knowledge on this earth, in this earth school, and learning all these things, and being able to look at me in the eyes and tell me you're either gonna be a healer or a herder, right? And I'm sure in between there's all these things that happen, right? Which could make your road, you having to pivot and twist and do all these other things, right? To maneuver. But at the end it's almost like you the beginning, and you know where you're heading, right? So it's kind of like picks a direction, right? And then be in this kind of like, very happy kind of energy of I don't know if I'm making sense right now, so I'll just keep going, but you know, those kind of things. So I don't know. All right, the charity. So it feels like it might be sooner than later, right? Or it already started, or it's something happening fast, or by cancer season, which is right around the corner, really. You know, right now when the full moon, by the time the full moon becomes a crescent moon, right? And there's number seven again. What was the other seven? I know there was another seven somewhere, wasn't there? Oh, honesty, right? So maybe it's time to communicate that honesty pretty fast, right? 7-7, right? Destiny, journey, overcoming obstacles, willpower, same direction, drive, right? So, what else? What else? I think that's it. Let me see. I guess I could put one of these angel cards, and then I'll close it with that. I'm thinking. So, as you can see, let's see what comes out first, and then I'll give my closing comments. I remember, I don't know how many of you remember Jerry Springer, and it was like just the craziest. Imagine that being like this, which is funny, see, because even that's the comedy of life, right? Like what his show was about, all the drama, and then at the end he would try to give this like, but that's really the reality, right? You can go through all kinds of drama and still learn something from it, right? I think it was just comical the way he did it, that all this thing, and you know, yeah, it was just funny, but and then he'd give his little closing thoughts, right? So that was funny. All right. I don't know why that popped in my head. Maybe some of you like Jerry Springer or something. All right. I don't know, is this guy naked or what? Let me see. Wow. Okay. God, the pleasure of man's children. Eight of Cups, Eyael, 67. Transformation gives consolation in adversity. Wow. What did I just say? About how all that drama and there was still like a message in it, man. So today's just been like, well, I mean, it usually is, right? But I don't know how I could show this little cherubim. I don't know. He's not naked, but I don't know if YouTube will get it like that, right? He's pouring something. See, he's like bloop bloop bloop. We got every last drop. Transformation gives consolation in adversity. So sometimes you need that adversity to go through the transformation. It's kind of what squeezes it out of you. See, it's funny that he's pouring like the last little drop, like like that, like that adversity will squeeze it out of you, sometimes in life, right? So I feel like that's a good final message. So if you went through this change, right, with the Scorpio full moon, which is all about transformation. So it's funny that what was the first card that came out? I don't even remember. Oh, boundaries. So yeah, maybe that's all part of the transformation, right? I don't know. Was that the first card I pulled out? I don't know. You can rewind it and check it out. But thank you all for watching. Give it a thumbs up if it resonated. Comment. Let me know what you went through during this Scorpio full moon. The energy's still there. So, you know, yeah, just let me know. All right. Thank you for watching. Peace.